Well, if you're a fan of crab cakes, crab shallot, crab salad, crab dips, crab legs, dipped in butter, or even a good deviled crab, if you're thinking of the movie Forrest Gump, you're not too far off, you'll be happy to know that the Chesapeake Bay is seeing an increase in blue crabs, the highest in 7 years. A dredging report was released on Monday and indicates a healthy crab population. Some things that catalyze the increase are mild winter, good fishery management and application of strict harvest restrictions, and reduction of pollution by states in the watershed to provide a healthy habitat for the blue crabs. In addition, the blue crab habitat is bolstered by increases in underwater grasses and oyster reefs. Overall, the bay-wide crab population rose by 60% from last year to reach an estimated total of 595 million crabs. That should give you a really good, I'm thinking dinner right now. An annual winter survey released by the states of Maryland and Virginia shows almost twice as many juveniles as last year. Adult males rose by 38%, or roughly 80 million, and spawning age females have increased too, climbing to 190 million from a nearly 30% gain. These numbers mean that if female crabs are close to the Maryland fisheries target and juvenile numbers are above average. While the crab count is booming, there is no word on how the increase in crab population will affect the anticipated consumer cost of crabs. Fisher folks shall be limited by current restrictions to provide a conservative, stable approach in the face of swings in abundance. The historic Port of Falmouth sits in a floodplain. About a year ago, it was a disaster area after multiple large floods inundated the area with water and debris flowing into nearby homes, and for weeks prompting cleanup efforts. They'd clean it up once, it'd flood again. When not flooded, the beach at the park is a popular spot for people to lay in the sun and use to venture into the turbulent Rappahannock River, where visitors swim at their own risk. I underline that and caution you not to go swimming there. With Memorial Day right around the corner and the park nearly cleared of all of last year's debris, Stafford County officials are debating whether to reopen the park or not. We shouldn't open it at all, said District Supervisor Mark Dudenhofer. With a cost of $25,000 per summer season to operate the park, and with multiple 911 calls each year for swimmers in distress, Supervisor Dudenhofer says the area is better dormant than to be used as a public park. Stafford County picked up the operation of the park more than 10 years ago after a park's partnership with Fredericksburg dissolved. County supervisors on Tuesday agreed that if the park floods again, as it did last year, the county wouldn't be able to spend the additional funds to clean it up. But supporters of the park say it should be left open for passive use. One of the county's walking trails runs right to the park, so you can fish there. Some also advocate the park being used for fishing. When we created this park, we took a floodplain and wanted people to have an amenity without the consideration of what we would do in the event it actually flooded, said Quiet District Supervisor Cindy Shelton. George Washington Supervisor Tom Cohen said he'll hold a roundtable discussion on May 29th with constituents, asking them what they want to have done with the park in their district. Falmouth Supervisor Meg Baumke said that despite all of the swim at your own risk signs posted along the shore, the river is just too dangerous to swim at. I'd agree with her there. You can put no swimming signs up until the cows come home, added Griffith's Widewater Supervisor Jack Lafreniere, but there's nothing you can do to stop swimmers. Directly across the Rappahannock River from the historic Port of Falmouth lies the River Mill Park in Fredericksburg. County officials said it's likely that if the Falmouth Park was closed, people would still enter the water from the Fredericksburg shoreline. Officials plan to bring the issue to the public hearing before the Stafford County Board of Supervisors in June. The park is located at 401 River Road in Falmouth. Now we go to George Kerns, the man with the sports. George.
Thanks, guys. George Kerns here for CVTV Sports. The NBA playoffs are winding down as the semifinals are approaching. The Milwaukee Bucks have eliminated the Boston Celtics 4-1 and await the winner of Philadelphia-Toronto series, which Toronto leads 3-2. Many wonder if this was the last game for Kyrie Irving as a Boston Celtic. Denver leads Portland 3-2 going into Thursday night's game at Portland. Golden State squeezed by Houston in Game 5, 104-99 to lead the series going into Friday night's game, 3-2 at Houston. In the third quarter of Game 5, Kevin Durant left the court with a calf injury, and he will have an MRI done, and we do not know the significance of the injury until we get the results. Also in NBA news, it may be hard to find a head coach to coach LeBron James. Monty Williams and Tyronn Lue. But Williams took the Phoenix Suns head coaching job, and Tyronn Lue turned down the head coaching job with the LA Lakers. What will the LA Lakers do now? In NHL news, the St. Louis Blues win their series over the Dallas Stars 4-3 and will now play the San Jose Sharks, who beat the Colorado Avalanche 4-3. Boston will now host Carolina Hurricanes, which in Game 1 is Thursday night. So we will continue to keep you posted as we follow the road to the Stanley Cup. In baseball, the Orioles and the Nats are in a bit of a slump lately. The Orioles are 3-7 over the last 10 games and 10.5 games out of first place, as Baltimore is last at 13-24. The Nationals are 2-8 over their last 10 games, 7 games out of first place with a record of 14-22. The Los Angeles Dodgers have a 25-14 MLB best, as the Rays are 23-13. The Twins are 23-12, and Houston Astros are 22-15. In NASCAR news, this past weekend, Martin Truex Jr. won in Dover with his second win in the past couple of races. In horse racing in the Kentucky Derby, Maximum Security won the race and was disqualified for interference, and Maximum Security will skip the Preakness Stakes. The steward's decision is not subject to appeal, which he impeded the path of several horses in the race. Country House was awarded the winner after Maximum Security's disqualification. In local high school basketball news, Chris Shelton was named Class 4 State Player of the Year after leading Louisa to the state championship game. He's committed to Hampton University. He averaged 21 points per game this past season as he helped Louisa to the state title game, where they fell to GW Danville 55-44. Finally, congratulations to North staffer Joey Sly, who has signed with the New York Giants. Well, that's a look at what's going on in the sports world. I'm George Kerns for CVTV Sports. Back to you guys.
And we want to thank you very much for tuning in to CVTV News. As I said, my partner Deedra Haven is on assignment. She'll be back next week. We're brought to you by Germanna Community College. We're always grateful for their support. And wishing you a very nice week, and you hope you will tune in to us next week. Good night.